This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Ladies, are you looking to get away from your man because you're tired of him bumbling about sports all day? Fellas, are you tired of hearing her complain to you about her friends you couldn't give two shits about? Everybody else who's single, let's face it, it's not going to get much worse from here. Well, I have a solution for all of you. Start a podcast with Anchor. It's free. No, seriously. It'll give you an excuse to get away from your annoying partner while also awarding you some much-needed personal time. Anchor is great because it allows you to easily record a podcast from your phone, computer, or tablet. What's even cooler is that Anchor will distribute your podcast so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so much more. Anchor allows you to make money from your podcast through ads like this. Also, making money from your ads requires no minimum listenership. So even if nobody listens to your podcast, and it sucks, it doesn't technically suck for you. Anchor is everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Anchor can be available to download in the App Store, or if your life sucks again and you have an Android, it can also be found on Google Play. You can also go to anchor.fm to get started. That's anchor.fm. Now that you've heard everything I have to say about Anchor, go do me a favor and download it. And remember, it's free!
Hello, and welcome to Cooking for Singles. I am your host, Chantel, and today we will be learning how to cook a seafood.
Fire! I'm sorry, I'm going to Walmart later today, and I was practicing what I was going to yell when I walk in. But hello and welcome everybody to episode 2 of the Luke Papola Show. I am your host, Luke Papola, by myself once again, because that's as good as it's going to be, right? Oh, man. Maybe I'll do it a parody of Cooking for Singles with Chantel. If it's well received, I will 100% do a parody of that. Whether that's like an SNL skit, if I get the funding from Spotify to do that one day with the sponsorships that I hope to acquire soon. Or if it's just, a podcast episode. It could be a separate podcast episode, whatever. If it's well received, you guys let me know at the Luke Papola Show at gmail.com. Just let me know, yes or no. Did you like it? Did you not? And, I'll do that for you. Oh, but we got a lot coming up. I had a couple story-worthy instances in my day, or rather my week, this past week. We'll talk about those. We're going to touch briefly on male and female equality and whether it's correct or not to have women wear no shirt in public. Is it correct? Is it socially acceptable? We're going to talk about that, right? Because we talk about uncomfortable subjects on the show. The NFL is back. Cowboys just lost to the Buccaneers, 31-29. Had people over last night. It was great. We're going to talk about the NFL season upcoming briefly. And the President of the United States gave a speech to the American people yesterday. We will talk about that. And much more coming up on the Luke Papola Show. So what a week it's been, like I said. I am really starting to love college. I'm not going to lie. So I was kind of pushing back against the whole idea of college this year. Coming back. Just a lot of external factors coming into play, and I didn't know if it was right for me. I wanted to go online. But however, these past 2 weeks of the start of my junior year have really shown me what I missed about college. Not in terms of the education, right? I haven't been educated one bit. But in terms of the community, in terms of the people that I come into contact with. I'm not going to lie, I missed it. I'm a really social person, if you couldn't tell by this podcast already. I don't care who you are. White, black, Mexican, Asian, whatever race, ethnicity, doesn't matter. Sexual orientation, gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, whatever. I do not care. If you're cool, if you're nice, If you're cool to talk to, I want to be your friend, 100%. So naturally, I've been able to meet a ton of people on campus just being who I am and becoming friends with a lot of these people, which is great. So naturally, I'm able to meet a lot of girls. You know, it's not my fault. I just do it. So, I haven't had the courage to talk to this girl yet, right? Because you see what happens. She sits like almost across the classroom from me in one of my classes this semester. And I'm not gonna lie, right? She's hot. she's pretty hot. Now, I don't know if she's hot without the masks. We gotta wear the masks. But I'm assuming she is. That's kind of one of my my greatest fears, is if I'm wearing the mask in school and somebody thinks I'm hot, then I walk out of the building, I take my mask off and like, ugh, right? So, I don't know. Hopefully she doesn't have that opinion of me. But I'm only human, and here's why, right? This is just my, should I say heterosexual male nature? Here's what happened. So I'm sitting in class on Tuesday, it was. And, you know, I'm just doing my thing. I'm being attentive, right? I got my binder out, sharpened my pencil, okay? Class is about to start. I'm ready to go and take notes and be focused. I had a bang. And if you guys don't know what a bang is, right, it's an energy drink. There's caffeine in it, creatine, and it gets you amped up and gets you focused on a task, right? So I was ready to go until this girl walks in. And through no fault of her own, it was pretty cold in the building, I'm not gonna lie. Knowing that it would be cold in the building, I wore a hoodie and sweatpants, right? She had a tank top and shorts. So she walks in, and through no fault of her own, because it was cold, unfortunately, and I felt for her, you could see, you know, she was nipping through her shirt. Through no fault of her own. Right? And me, you know, unfortunately, being a heterosexual male, the situation caught my eye. Through no fault of my own, it caught my eye. And because I had the bang, my focus shifted from the class that had started to this girl's breasts. Again, through no fault of my own, just my heterosexual male nature. So I was trying to, you know, take my eyes off of this occurrence that was happening. And once I took my eyes off, I realized like 5 minutes had went by. And I tried to make it seem like I wasn't looking, but I guess I did, because then she put a jacket on. Now maybe, and this is what I was thinking, I'm trying to be positive, maybe she remembered that she had a jacket in her book bag because it was cold. Or option 2, and this is what I was fearing, what if she saw me looking through no fault of my own and felt uncomfortable and violated and decided to put the jacket on? And I know what you girls are all thinking, and probably the guys too, the overwhelming majority of the guys too. Ew, he's such a perv. Ew, how disgusting. Men are trash. And to that I say to you, I'm not perverted. I'm just Italian. Through no fault of my own, I'm not perverted. Really, I'm not. I'm simply just Italian. Pivoting off that, I follow a account on Instagram, right? It's called Impact. And what Impact is, it is a progressive minded, you could say, a progressive-minded account dedicated to providing information and informing people on issues. Now, I am not of the progressive ideology, right? I believe that it is partly flawed in some aspects. However, I do believe in some of the aspects of the progressive ideology. And I feel that it's very important to keep oneself informed on every single aspect of an issue. So that way you'll be able to form your own opinions, getting information from the other side, and then validating or sometimes being able to change your opinions. So you have like the strongest points and beliefs. I think that's so important. And although some of the stuff that Impact posts, I believe, is complete bullshit, some of it, once again, I think is really interesting and important. So they put out a post a couple days ago, and it had a picture of a shirtless man and a shirtless woman. Now, next to each other, they had their arms raised in the air, and it was divided into a half. And the male nipple was uncovered, and the male armpit hair was uncovered. On the right side of the picture, and the male was on the left side. On the right side of the picture, it was a shirtless woman, obviously. And her nipple was covered, and her armpit hair was covered. And basically what the post represented or tried to convey to the audience was that it's okay for a male to walk around shirtless in public, and it's okay for a male to have disgusting armpit hair, but yet society doesn't accept the fact that women can have armpit hair, and it doesn't accept the fact or the idea that women can walk around shirtless in public. And there were like 6 other posts giving information that was like similar to that, basically, but that was the whole principle of the idea, to ask why isn't this socially acceptable, and that it should be socially acceptable. And a lot of feminists around the country, and I would assume around the world, believe this and are pushing for this ultimately. And frankly, I don't know who created this rule that said it's not socially acceptable. I'm not sure. We've had pretty sexist rules in the past, so I would understand it. But here's where I stand on it. Me personally, I'm all about freeing the nipple. Girls, I support you. However, you gotta understand some things before we okay this. I've talked to a lot of girls about this subject. A lot often who have experienced this. We're talking about girls who go to the gym in leggings and sports bras and all that stuff, which is fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. And they get really uncomfortable looks from men, right? Some really old men, some men in their younger ages, like myself. You could consider me a youth. I personally don't. I think I'm a little bit more mature. Listening to this podcast, you probably might get a different idea, but whatever. Anyway, the point is, girls get a lot of uncomfortable looks from guys at the gym. And this is when they're clothed. And some of these girls have really strong opinions. The ones I've talked to, some of them have even been driven to the point of tears. Right? That they're so uncomfortable with this. Some don't care. It just depends on your life experiences, I guess. I'm not a woman, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a woman. But women, because you're all strong, independent women, you guys need to pick a side here. Right? Like I said, I'm all for freeing the nipple. But however, like many other guys, if a girl comes walking down the street shirtless, through no fault of my own, I'm gonna look. It's like breathing. It's gonna happen. So if we want girls to be able to walk around in public without a shirt on, which is fine, girls, you need to prepare for feeling uncomfortable. You can't have it both ways. There's no physical touching involved. If a slight glance is too much, I don't know what to tell you. But once again, right, through no fault of my own, I would look. Through no fault of my own, once again. No, I'm not perverted. I'm simply just Italian. And I'm a nice guy too. That's the thing. I'm a really nice guy. Some people don't like me. Frankly, I don't understand why. I'm really a nice guy. Ask anyone really who truly knows me. I'm a nice guy. Right? People have good things to say about me. So I have that record. You can't dispute that. Like, I'll give you an example. If it was a chilly fall day, okay, and I see a woman, and she's walking around campus in a low-cut t-shirt, right, jeans, right, she's obviously cold. It's 50 degrees outside, and it's windy, and I have a coat on, okay, or a jacket. I'm not looking at her cleavage, okay? I'm not saying, wow. You know, my eyes aren't jumping out of my skull. Maybe at first they do, so that's a lie. But what I will do after that is I would take my jacket off and I would give it to her because she looked cold. Because I'm a nice guy. So, any judgment of my character can just be measured by that. And then we can see that I'm not a perv once again. I'm simply just Italian. I'm really trying to hammer that point home because apparently with some leaders in government that people believe that. So that's what I'm going to go with. Well, episode 1 of this podcast was very well received by a lot of people, and I appreciate everybody who took the time to give a review. In fact, the reviews were so good that I'm going to read them. Good show. Had me laughing. Keep up the good work. Jared C. 5 out of 5 stars. Megan W. said, I'm ready to listen to episode 2. 5 out of 5 stars. Ivan B. called the show funny and also gave it a 5 out of 5 star rating. Danny M. said, you had me laughing pretty hard. 5 out of 5 stars. And these reviews kept going on and on and on. But however, like with every great piece of art, you're always going to have a few critics. Leanna P. called the show cringy. 2 out of 5 stars. Another one says, I listened to episode 1. Personally, I did not care for it. You were not funny. You were a little too personal. A turnoff. Sorry. Maybe number 2 will be better. Patty R. 1 out of 5 stars. It doesn't help that those last 2 reviews were from my mom and my grandma. Looks like Christmas won't be coming for them this year. I'm kidding. I am kidding. They will be getting gifts. I love my mom and my grandma. Just not big ones. I'm kidding again. They're going to get nice Christmas presents, obviously. I said I was going to talk about the president's speech, but that's like old news. So like I'm not going to talk about that. So that's that. But the NFL is coming up. Thank God! I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for the NFL to come back. Like I said last night, and I don't know if I've said this already. I don't think I have. You guys are going to be hearing this episode on Monday the 13th. And I recorded this episode on the 10th. Right? Yeah. So, did I? No, I recorded it on the Anyway, who cares? But last night, I had people over for Thursday Night Football, and it was a blast. We saw the Cowboys go up. At that point, it was 29-28 in favor of the Dallas Cowboys. Fantastic game. What a way to open up the NFL season. But with a minute 24 left, the Bucs got it. And they had an opportunity to drive down the field, kick a field goal, and win. And Tom Brady was on the field, obviously. He's on the Bucs. And all of us in the room didn't even question it. We just said immediately, Tom Brady's going to drive them down and they're going to win. And they did. Tom Brady it astonishes me. He's 44 years old, and he's still at the top of his game. Some people call him the best quarterback in the league, best player in the league. I personally would not. I think he's like right under Mahomes, Rodgers, in my opinion. But he's still fantastic. He's still great. He still continues to improve year after year, which is nuts. He is the perfect model for anybody, whether that's his ability to continue just having this competitive fire in him and continuing to improve, or when you talk about him as a person and what his teammates say when you listen to like interviews and stuff like that, or even him as a business person and how he's just continuing to evolve there, or even taking care of his body too. Like I said, he's 44 and he looks better than he did when he was 22. It's just amazing. It's somebody that you want to root for, unless you're not a fan of Tom Brady because of the alleged Deflategate scandal, which we're not going to get into that. But basically, I really I look up to Tom Brady in terms of like his ability to accomplish all these things. The greatest player ever, 7 Super Bowls. Maybe gets his 8th. Who knows? So, but it was a fun night last night. I got pizza. Like I said, had people over. We all enjoyed ourselves. It was great. There was some pizza left over. I did get too much pizza. So after I cleaned up, I was the last one up, obviously. So after I cleaned up, I, put the pizza away, and that was that. Went to bed. Was going to wake up the next morning. I didn't have any class. I don't have class on Fridays because I'm a beast. So I was going to wake up, do my thing, work out, have a nice chilled day, and prepare for the Browns. By the way, I'm a pretty big Browns fan. I'm not a diehard, but I'm like the tier right under that. I live in Youngstown, Ohio, a suburb of Youngstown, Ohio. I'm not going to give out my precise location because some of you guys are kind of weird and you'll track me down. I know some of the people that I've carried over from TikTok know this. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm a Browns fan, and growing up, the Browns sucked. We weren't done any favors on Sunday afternoons and evenings sometimes. And obviously, where I live, it's 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh or 50 minutes away from Pittsburgh. An hour 15 away from Cleveland. So it is in Ohio, but it's like on the border, basically. And so there's a lot of Steelers fans that live here. And growing up, the joke was always, what do Chick-fil-A and the Cleveland Browns have in common? And everybody knew the answer. And you'd be like, what? What do they have in common? They're both closed on Sundays. And they thought they were so funny. They thought they were the coolest thing. Well, the Browns beat the Steelers last year in the playoffs. If you were living under a rock, by a lot, it was pretty surreal to see. So now the Browns are on top. They have the 8th highest odds to win the Super Bowl. The Steelers, they don't even crack the top 15. I don't think it's not looking good for them. So who's laughing now, Bo? We are. The Browns fans that have been waiting a minute for this. So I'm highly looking forward to the NFL season for sure. But something happened after I had people over last night. So like I mentioned, I put the pizza away. But I didn't think there was any issue. However, my mother saw a opportunity to wake me up. So what happened was I was sleeping in. It was like 9 o'clock. It wasn't even like late, whatever. I immediately wake up to this voice. What have you done? And I'm just thinking, what did I do now? And I my ears are continuously blasted with this awful noise. It just woke me up and put me in a really bad mood for the rest of the day. Why didn't you put the pizza in the fridge? Just like that, I knew I messed up. What I did was I put the pizza. It was like 1.5 boxes of pizza left, so half was 8, and I was planning on saving it for Sunday, like putting it in the fridge, freezer, whatever. But overnight, I figured it wouldn't be any problem, so I put it on the stove and I just stacked it there, right? And apparently, I committed a cardinal sin. I didn't think it was a big deal. I figured the next morning I'll put it in the fridge, whatever, because there wasn't any room. And I was tired. I wanted to go shower and go to bed. I was exhausted. I just hosted. You know? And basically, I committed a cardinal sin, like I said. I didn't know that leaving pizza boxes out overnight with pizza in it was equivalent to killing somebody. I mean, what the hell, right? It put me in a bad mood. I got, obviously, yelled at for that, because I guess I can do nothing right. But it was just so frustrating. My mother and her ways, ultimately. So, but tomorrow will be a new day. The Browns play at 4:25. They played not the defending champs anymore. Kansas City Chiefs, who were in the Super Bowl last year but got humiliated by the Buccaneers. Many people consider them the best team in the NFL. We'll see. I'm very excited for everything, all the storylines in the NFL. Very excited to see what happens. But yeah, guys, that's the podcast. That's episode 2. I hope everybody enjoys it, or has enjoyed it, rather. If you haven't seen it yet, go to the Instagram. That is at the Luke Papala Show. And go check out our cover. I'm going to be making a new cover for each episode every week. And I really hope that everybody enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, email me at thelukepapalashow@gmail.com. Any suggestions, anything like that, promotional ideas, whatever. I want to hear it. And to any single moms out there, I'm here for you. But have a good day, everybody. Once again, I really appreciate everybody, that's listening. Of course, you guys are why I do it. And that's that. Everybody take care. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.